All right, great. So welcome to the MozFest Ambassador Hour. I'm Christina, the MozFest Communications Manager, and together with the MozFest team, I've been leading the trial program of our very first Ambassador program. Our ambassadors are a small group of internet health advocates and loyal MozFest communities who are committed to bringing MozFest to their parts of the world and using their networks and their communities. Since last October, when we launched the program, we've been meeting monthly to discuss plans for MozFest, which has been all over the place given the pandemic. We went from, starting to meet in Amsterdam to moving to a hybrid version, and now we're all obviously all online. And the ambassadors have been rolling with the punches every step of the way, so we thank you for that. And they've been spreading the word about the festival in their local communities through social media, email, and in person when they're able. So today, I am thrilled to have you join our ambassadors for a round of lightning presentations to hear what they're working on towards internet health and how you can get involved. You'll have a chance to ask questions after every single share out, so don't be shy. Feel free to come off of mute if you're comfortable, or you can always put questions in the chat. Before we begin, though, I would love to see who's here with us. So if you are comfortable, again, we'd love to have you introduce yourself, where you're from, maybe what's your favorite thing about MozFest that you've experienced so far. You can, again, put that in the chat or come off of mute. And ambassadors, feel free to do a quick introduction of yourself as well. So I will start. My name is Christina, like I said. I am coming from Columbus, Ohio in the United States. My favorite thing about MozFest so far has just been seeing all of the excitement. Like, even though we're online and isolated, it's been really, really nice to see just how excited everyone is to still come together, that we didn't cancel MozFest, but that we're still doing it virtually. So yeah, that excitement just feeds my own excitement. Who would like to go next?
Okay, am I audible? Yeah, okay, so hi, I am Ekansh and I am from Delhi, India. And I have been a MozFest facilitator in 2019, and I am a MozFest ambassador and a facilitator in 2021. With me here, we have a lot of people. I've met a lot of people, and Chow here has been my MozFest wrangler last time around. So it's great to meet all of you. Even though it's virtually, I wanted to meet everyone physically. But yeah, so I'll give the whole presentation, the lightning talk, in due time. But yeah, that's me. So I'll just pass over to someone else. Let me choose. Okay, bye. Okay, so Chow, you can go next.
Awesome. So I'll obviously talk a lot more about my work in a few minutes. But yeah, I'm Chow. I have been at MozFest. This is the third year now, but I'll say all about that. And I'm in Nairobi, Kenya as we speak. It's nice and sunny here. So I'll speak more shortly.
Okay, my name is Sultan. Sultan, I can today. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently working with Gun for the Web to set some standards and introduce folks in Africa to web monetization. I mean, we're talking about LD web, right? And one of the amazing things happening right now is web monetization. So I've been all on about speaking to folks and setting up conferences and events and tutorials to actually introduce folks in Africa to web monetization. Yeah, I have a presentation coming up soon too. Nice to meet you.
Hey everyone, my name is Sibel. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. Wow, I'm a huge fan of MozFest. I attend 2 times in London. Wow, I love London, and I work with security and privacy. So that's it. I can talk more about what I'm doing, how I working as an advocate. But yeah, here's warm, sunny, warm, too warm for me, but it's a very nice weather, and my neighbor is doing a lot of noise. Sorry.
We actually can't hear the noise, Sibel, so it's fine.
Cool, because it's, oh, gosh, a huge noise right now. of course, it's almost lunchtime, and he starts to, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Esther, and I'm joining from Lusaka, Zambia. It's very exciting to see everyone here. So this year, in addition to being an ambassador, I'm also an AI relevance wrangler. So it's just exciting to see both sides and to curate this space. I've been a facilitator in MozFest since 2018, and it's very exciting to be part of co-creating and promoting this virtual MozFest. That's me.
Hi everyone, I'm Namrata and I'm a Mozilla fellow. I'm also facilitator this year, and I have a session in the AI wellness space on the 17th. And I was interested in listening to the presentations, so that's why I'm here. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to say, but I'm originally from Mumbai, India, and I now live in Scotland.
Yeah, hello. Hi, I'm Emrys. I'm one of the MozFest ambassadors. I was a wrangler for 4 years, I think it was. Yeah, so then became an ambassador and look forward to speaking with you a bit later and learning about what everyone else is up to at the moment. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm based in the UK.
Hello. Hi, I'm Yash from Mumbai, India. Am I audible? All right. So yeah, so I make music in video game music, and I mostly use OpenMPT software, which is an open source tool available online, and I make music there. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm here to learn and just participate in something new, and a big fan of Mozilla from a long time. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
I'm Stephanie. I am one of the MozFest team, and I'm coming to you from foggy Seattle today. And I'm here because I've learned all about the ambassadors and I wanted to meet everyone face to face. So I'm excited to see you all here.
I'm going to give one last pause to see if anyone else wants to say hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hear me? Yeah. I'm Manuel from Versailles in France. I'm not a Mozilla fellow, but I'm interested in open source. I'm a software developer, learning Rust currently, and interested in the economy of data, sharing data, no vendor lock-in, and maybe someday developing tools for personal knowledge management. That's it. Thanks.
Five more seconds of awkward pause. All right, great. Well, welcome everyone. We're so thrilled to have you here. So I would like to introduce our first speaker who will be joining us, which is Alia. She is going to go first. So Alia, I know that you just introduced yourself, but do you want to just, I guess, quickly reintroduce yourself so that we don't forget, and then you can kick off your presentation. Thank you.
Actually didn't introduce myself strategically because I knew I was going to be the first speaker.
Perfect. See, you're on top of this. I love it. Kick it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Alia. I'm from Cairo in Egypt. I'm an ambassador, as you guys know by now, which means that I get to feel a little bit better about my excessive social media use. I was introduced to MozFest last year the year before, 2019. I don't count 2020 in my personal life. So I was introduced to MozFest in 2019 as a wrangler for the decentralization space. I had such an amazing time. Like I fell in love with the festival. The first day I saw like 6 floors of sessions happening all the time. So I came back again this time as an ambassador and as a wrangler mentor, which means I try to be of support for the wrangler team. They don't really need me, but I try anyway. And yeah, I'll just tell you guys a bit about what I like to do. And yeah, so as I said, can you guys see my screen, by the way? Cool. So as I said, I'm from Cairo, Egypt. I actually just graduated in May 2020. I studied computer science and a little bit of poli-sci and media studies at NYU's campus in the UAE. Currently, I'm in Dubai, actually, so like an hour away from there. And the way I first got involved with MozFest actually was in my second year of university. I took a class about the socioeconomic implications of AI and technology. And then a couple of my classmates saw this MozFest call for projects that explore AI's impact on society. So we decided to apply. Didn't really know what we were doing, but we decided to just put in an application and see what happens. So we submitted a proposal for a game that would explain to a more public audience how AI and machine learning can be biased. Because we felt like it's one of those things where if you understand it, you think it's like extremely obvious, but if you don't, you just never really like, the average person doesn't sit down and think about data bias, right? And so we just wanted to make like a simple 5 to 6 minute game that could be accessible for like high school students, for students studying social science policy, who may not feel familiar enough to like engage with these technological conversations without like an introductory primer. So we built, with the help of Mozilla, we built this game called Survival of the Best Fit. The website is here, so you can check it out and let us know if there's any bugs. It's been out for like a bit over a year, so hopefully there won't be any. But yeah, you play as the CEO of a small startup that's trying to hire more employees, and then you face additional pressures that make you like rely on automated solutions, and then you get to see firsthand how hiring could be biased when we rely on AI. I'm gonna put a plug in here. So actually tomorrow, Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern is the presentation for this year's Creative Media Awards cohort. And so the theme is Black interrogations of AI. So it's all Black technologists and creators who made projects that I haven't seen yet. So I'm super excited, but you should check it out in the schedule and go, because I'm sure it's going to be great. Yeah, that was my quick plug. I have to pay them back somehow. Another project I was working on is this website that I built with my friend who's a wrangler this year in the creative AI space. She's Palestinian, Jordanian, and I'm Egyptian. And we both got like super into the tech ethics and like tech policy and internet health space in our senior year. And then realized that like we were reading stuff about Silicon Valley 90% of the time, and obviously nothing about like Egypt or Palestine. And so we thought we'd make like very small like initial effort and start small. And we just reached out to a bunch of friends. Our university is super diverse. So we reached out to a bunch of people we know and asked them to write pieces that were about the internet's impact on their societies from perspectives of like where they come from or the demographic, etc. So this is Lujain, who's a wrangler in the youth zone space. And then we built the website like after hours for fun. We spent $7 total on like the domain name. So we just decided to like have fun with the website. So you'll find like snippets of random animation or like a random like error page that like moves around for no reason. So we just filled it with these like things that just make us happy because we just wanted to have fun with it. And one of our best friends, Tom, he made like all the designs on the front page, and he was like, I love colors, and we're like, go for it. But yeah, right now we're working on a second issue with like 8 more articles, also people from all over the world, and we just hope to do more of these kinds of stuff to diversify the narrative a little bit. And yeah, I guess that's me. I think I'm already out of time probably. But if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Does anyone have questions for Alia before
Yeah,
we?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious, Alia. Also, it's nice to see you again. I'm curious about what has been an interesting discovery or outcome from people playing the game. Like, is there anything either cute, shocking or just interesting that you found out?
I think maybe two main things. I'll try to say them quickly. The first thing is so many people, like I said at the beginning, I mean, we did user testing like on campus. We just sat down with a bunch of food and asked everyone to come play it for a while. And everyone just said like, this makes so much sense. And this is something that like they now felt comfortable engaging with. But I feel like with a lot of these topics, we start off thinking like, oh, it's not like accessible, you know, this is about machine learning or AI or whatever. But once you make like a very small effort towards people, you find out that way more people would actually want to engage with you on the topics. So I think, yeah, just how many people were like, yeah, I mean, of course, if the data is biased, then obviously the results have to be biased. I just never thought about it before. And I realized that often, like, all you need to do is just like make people think about it. You don't even need to do that much, and then they're gonna like want to do the rest of the work. And then the second thing is, can you share? Yeah, I can share the link. The second thing is we ended up having like our biggest audience base probably was recruiters, but like we didn't really intend for that because none of us really know recruiters, but apparently there's like a really big like recruiting, I don't know, like echo chamber online. So we ended up on like recruiting newsletters and like recruiting blogs, and like people were fighting like different recruiting companies. And that was really fascinating. But as a result, we had a lot of conversations with people from that perspective that were talking about like legal procedures, and like someone had a call with us about like the rule of 3/5 or whatever in the United States, or like the proportion of people you hire has to whatever. Like we got into really niche conversations. And we came into it with a very different perspectives, like young people who just wanted to promote like diversity and whatever. And they came to it from a very different perspective of like, we've been looking at these laws for so long and thinking within like these very, very strict structures. And yeah, so it was also very enlightening for us to like reach into an audience who we wouldn't have had these conversations with beforehand.
Amazing, thank you. If anyone else has any questions for Alia, just stick them in the chat. Alia, I think you also accidentally direct message.
I just noticed that.
that link.
Yeah.
But Chad, we're going to move on to you. If you want to kick off your presentation, thank you.
Okay, I'm good. Great. So my name is Chao, and this is my third year participating in MozFest, so I'm very excited. So I'm a researcher, educator, and mentor. That's pretty much how I describe myself. Part of my research work is actually how I got involved in MozFest for the first time. I'll talk about that in a bit. I'm also an educator. In fact, I'm still at my office at the university where I work. So I lead a school in science and technology as the dean. And something that is a very big part of my life is I'm the founder and mentor of Camille, which I'll just give a snippet shortly. So one of the reasons that I founded the Camille Mentorship Program is we found and have actually done survey on this, that up to 60 to 80% of the university students don't receive mentorship outside the classroom. So as a result, while they get technical skills in the classroom, we find that there's a lot of skills that will make students globally competitive. For example, how do you write a good proposal for MozFest? That is an important skill so that you can get to MozFest, but that is not taught in the classroom. And that is one of the needs that led to founding the nonprofit now. And so, oh, I think I have mixed up my slides, but I'll go back. And so to date, since September 2016, when we started the mentorship program, we've worked with up to 170 students from 19 Kenyan universities. So it's an 8-month program, and it's 50-50 in terms of students who identify as male and female, because we'd like to be really inclusive for all the everyone who's on our campuses. And this is something that I do outside my 9 to 5, and it's been a very impactful journey that is going to continue. And so I'll just go back, sorry. And so so 2016, I founded the Camille Mentorship Program, and in 2017, my first really immersive interaction with Mozilla began. So this is Mozilla in San Francisco, where I was part of the Tech Women Fellowship Program. And some of you might recognize Amira on the screen. She was my mentor, and Carl. And I was placed at Mozilla in San Francisco for about 4 weeks, where I worked on a report that led me to MozFest 2018. So part of my fellowship at Mozilla was I worked on understanding the individual perceptions among Kenyan adults about internet health. And that is what I presented and submitted to 2018 as a MozFest facilitator, and that was accepted. So that was my first immersion now to MozFest, having really met and incredibly fell in love with Mozilla in 2017. And back home now in the mentorship program, this was a session that I ran in 2019 among the students that I mentor. And we were discussing the different themes in the Mozilla Health Report. And this was before, it was just around the time MozFest 2019 had put out the call for applications. And the first step was to really get the students to understand what MozFest is about and the issues around internet health. And this is a group you can see that were discussing some of the issues from that report. And the presentations after that were very fascinating, especially in the context of Kenya and how we understand privacy and the issues that we know, but we just ignore. So it was very fascinating. And so the same year, in 2019, I was in London as a web literacy wrangler, which was really amazing. I got to work with all these four amazing gentlemen in the space. And our theme was actually, we themed our space in the library, if you've been to MozFest, with a Halloween theme, which was pretty cool. So we did that in 2019. Now, what was fascinating is the connection between this picture and MozFest is that I came to MozFest 2019 with 3 people from my mentorship program. And 2 of them were actually facilitators. And in fact, we had 4 people accepted from the mentorship program, but 2 didn't get their visas, which was really painful. So 2 got their visas and they were able to present their paper. And on my extreme right, Maureen became an OLX Mozilla community leader. And this is an example of Moniki, who was in the web literacy space that I was wrangling, and he was talking about the fusion between art and technology. Incidentally, he actually just duplicated the same process and application among the mentees in the program. And it's a really immersive way of understanding how different people can use can interpret natural language processing, but he gamified it so that it can actually be real. So this was his table at the MozFest 2019. And so the impact of some of the mentorship work that we do for university students is they get to attend and get opportunities, because all the 4 mentees actually won the scholarship from Mozilla to attend the session, but 2 unfortunately didn't get a visa. So it is one of the ways that we are really spreading the impact of getting a lot more of the researchers and the students and the innovators here to get involved in such important international platforms. And so that brings me to my wish list. My biggest passion, and one of the reasons why I do mentorship, is I really want to see more Kenyans and more African gets involved at MozFest. And having started with really getting people applying and getting in and getting excited about MozFest, I think that's a good start, but I'll continue doing my part in through mentorship, ambassadorship like now, and sharing the good word. So thank you.
Amazing. Does anyone have a quick question for Chow? All right.
Can I ask a quick question on the mentoring work, especially?
Yeah.
How do you sort of find people engage? You sort of mentioned on your slides about most people not having mentoring outside of university. How do you sort of find engaging that and almost taking the next step beyond university or education, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so we've had so far until now, I've worked with almost 90 industry professionals who give their time and skills to the mentorship program along the 5 teams that we work with. But I think most interestingly is we've actually partnered with up to 18 organizations, one of whom hires directly from the program. And so they get, as part of the training, the mentees get trained on professional development and things that they need, but they may not necessarily are in their curriculum. And so as a result, the employers find that they're much more prepared to hit the ground running and to be value addition to their companies right from the start. So that the chain is now extending even beyond the university, and we're seeing that we're getting a lot more employers wanting to get the students from us. Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome, thank you. If you have any other questions for Chow, feel free to put them in the chat. You're getting lots of love in the chat, Chow, so amazing work. Sibel, you are up next.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a presentation, but I love to talk. So, and first, sorry, my English, of course, it's not my first language, but I think it's understandable. Anyway, I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. My daily work is a cybersecurity analyst in an intelligence team here in a company here in Brazil. I'm also a director of organization, a hackerspace actually, named Casa Hacker. We have doing a lot of online classes, meetings, workshops, amazing about many aspects of technology. What I can do is talk about privacy and security. But besides my work, I love to do advocacy. I'm activist by heart. You know, I do this for a long time. Actually, I start my career in technology doing activism of privacy and security and digital rights. I'm really interested in this intersection of technology, human rights, and feminism. This is very important, especially people from Global South know how this is important, especially right now. So, about 4 or 5 years ago, I joined to Mozilla community. So I've been doing lots of things here in Brazil, like talking about Internet Health Report, about VR. Sometimes I organize some meetups like about Rusty or something about Mozilla. And then in 2018, I guess I was part of Mozilla Open Leaders with a project about feminism and privacy. It was awesome, very cool. Next in 2018, yes, and then I went for the first time to MozFest. I love it. It's amazing. Oh my God, I love to go to events in everywhere. I really love to do this, but MozFest is, wow. It's huge, it's diverse, everybody's so nice. I met lots of friends from Brazil and all around the world, from Mexico, where I used to live, and I get new friends, actually, really good friends in MozFest. So I love it. This first time I presented a talk about privacy and what tools we can use, what can do, what we can't, what is better not to do. And one about this is very hard to say, demystifying, is this right? Demystifying deep web, because back the time I worked in Tor project. So it was amazing because there was about, 100 people in my first time in MozFest. Was wow. Many people want to know about Tor and what is deep web, what's not deep web. And then I came back next year in 2019 again to MozFest. Of course, I love it. And I'm part of Mozilla community, so it's help this ambassador in MozFest is like kind of natural, because it's something I really enjoy. I like. I respect, because it's for community. It's not a technical event like weird people trying to sell everything. It's for community doing by everyone. So I love it. Unfortunately, this year I couldn't present anything. I'm working so hard. Today will be in my schedule to work, but next year, I hope so. I will present something again. And I don't know. I think that's it. If you have any questions, I talk too fast and any slides. But anyway, I really love to be part of this,
Any questions for Sibel?
Yeah, I'm curious about the feminism part because feminism and privacy is definitely a very big thing. And so, could you give an example of like one very disturbing thing that we really need to have more discussions about, especially in terms of privacy, because that's a very key issue.
Well, there's here I can talk about Brazil. Here there is many conversations. People talk about how to do more feminist internet here in Latin America in general. How can we do this? Because, well, I work with internet. I work with technology, so everything is made for men by men. You know, it's hard, and even when they include women, it's just white women. They exclude native people, black or trans woman. This is really, really harsh. Well, I'm white, I know, but it's something that bothers me. This, why not include this, especially in feminists? Right now, the feminists don't include everybody. It's just white woman. That's it. And how can we live in internet, because we live in internet, everything is online right now, without these people? That's not these people, the people, you know. So I don't know, this advocacy, you know, to include other voices is very important. I try to do like every time. I don't know, for example, we try to include trans women, say, well, she's a woman regardless her genitals, she's a woman. Or why do you say black market instead of underground market? You know, the words matter. I don't know if I answered something like this.
Yes, thank you for that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. If you have any other questions for Sibel, you can stick them in the chat, but we are going to move on to Akansh now. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ekansh. I'll just share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible? Wait a minute. Okay, so are my slides in the speaker slide note and all that stuff?
We can see your speaker notes now.
Oh, yeah.
We could. There you go. Great.
Okay, I can't see my speaker notes. Okay, something's going on. My bad. Let me just. Okay, I'll just do this thing from without the presentation mode. Yeah. So hi everyone. So you can see me. I am Ekansh there with Hagrid. So yeah, this photo is from 2019 in London. So I was a MozFest facilitator in 2019, as I said previously, and I am a MozFest ambassador and facilitator in 2021. And something more about me. So I am currently interning with this company called DirectEye with their payments infrastructure. And I am an ex-intern at Streamlabs for the better part of the last year. So Streamlabs is currently run by Andy Forrest. And Andy Forrest was a wrangler of web literacy space in 2019. So now you know what MozFest can help you with and what's the impact of MozFest. So I have a session with Andy tomorrow as well. So yeah, MozFest gives you a sense of belongingness, I would say. And for me, it was a very different experience in 2019. I always thought like conferences are just topic sensitive, but MozFest is kind of like something which is very open and we can talk and we can just present anything there, which is covering the internet health movement. So MozFest was a great experience for me. Currently, I am also working with this community called Microsoft Student Ambassadors. And apart from that, we are a team of 3 students. And here we have in this Zoom call as well, one of my close friends, Nandini, was there building with me this amazing platform called Code Capture. And we were aiming to make coding education accessible to everyone. So I'll tell more about Code Capture in a bit. So let's move on. So this is me in 2019. If you can see, yeah, I am wearing Indian traditionals because this presentation was on Diwali. So Diwali is a Hindu festival, and all the Indians at that point of time in MozFest 2019 in London, we were all wearing traditional, so everyone can just see who we are and where we are from. And it was a good discussion around cookies and recommendation systems last time around. And we had a 5-year-old kid in my presentation who was actually answering questions related to maths and all that stuff, and that was pretty much, you know, mind-blowing for me. So that was a great experience for me. Yeah. Last year the anniversary edition book was also launched. It was actually the best thing that I had, and I have it right now as well. And I love the poster. It's on my desk. I am not on my desk right now, but yeah. So something to remember 2019 MozFest by is the whole anniversary edition book. Yeah, so let's continue. Okay, so making making the internet healthier and accessible is what we are trying to do here in India. So with that, I would like to just talk more about code capture and what we are trying to do to solve the world's problem today. So in today's world, the number of PCs in every household is limited, and far less than that the number of smartphones accessible. And this is actually more prominent in countries like India and the underdeveloped nations. In India, we are still learning to code via pen and paper because we don't have access to computers. And with the advent and the need for every student to code, to learn to code and to code, we aim to make a solution which tackles this problem specifically, right? So with some help from our friends at Microsoft, we are leveraging their APIs to make the whole coding education thing a mobile first experience, because mobiles are widely more accessible than computers at this point of time. So because we learn to code via pen and paper, code capture makes it really simple to get the code on paper to an editor with just a click of the picture. So we are actually using their APIs to translate the whole handwritten code to a text first experience. And essentially it's essentially with code capture, you don't need to type to code, right? So, and with this, we aim to empower our youth to be future ready by making coding education accessible to everyone, right? Yeah, so that's about me and my project that I am currently doing right now. So it was a brief presentation. You can reach out to me via mail or Twitter or LinkedIn. And thank you so much.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Does anyone have a quick question for Akansh before we move on?
I have a very quick question. Did you get to know Andy, who you work with now, through MozFest, or did you guys know each other and then go into MozFest?
Yeah, so I actually met him the first time at MozFest 2019 only. He wore a dinosaur suit, bodysuit in green color. I have a picture. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I got to know him. Then we worked so the MozFest was in October. So in 2020 April, he contacted me for some project regarding machine learning. I helped him out.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, and from May to January this year, we were, I was actually interning at his company called Streamlabs.
That's very cool. Awesome.
That is awesome. Love to hear those connections moving on and how it's like developing people's paths after MozFest. That's super cool. If you have any other questions for him, you can stick it in the chat, but I believe Emrys, you're up.
Marvelous, thank you very much. So I will just share the screen ready. I haven't got a presentation for you all. I've just got an example site to illustrate some of the work. So it's always bizarre now. I've lost you all, so I can't see you in the same way I was a minute ago. So as I mentioned earlier in the intros, I was lucky enough to wrangle for 4 years. And the last few years was focused on youth zone work as well. So a lot of my work overall is engaging with communities and particularly with young people to get them interested in arts and culture more broadly. And so for us, or sort of my definition with my colleagues, arts and culture includes sort of politics, society, technology, its impact on how people work and interact with each other as well. So for today, I just wanted to share a little bit on what we've been doing, particularly the last year or so, supporting young people, predominantly in the UK, who've been facing various lockdowns and disruption to their education and school systems as well. So the main vehicle that I do that through is with a charity called Upstart Projects, and we run an online magazine called Voice, which is what you can see on the screen share here. And one of the things that we've done most recently is employ 6 new young people through a government-funded scheme here in the UK, which is aimed at bringing young people who are long-term unemployed back into the sort of workforce, essentially giving them the skills to take on jobs long-term, which is marvellous. And several of those, or most of them, are experiencing various MozFest sessions. In fact, I think one is in one right now, instead of joining this one. How rude of them. So it's great that they've got this opportunity quite early on, quite new to starting, and actually attending so many different sessions. With Voice, we have generally been focusing on various issues that come up. So the homepage at the moment is still focused on International Women's Day from this week, and actually the team are taking that forward through throughout the whole month and looking at it from lots of different angles and perspectives. The thing I should say in terms of how this all links back is that I'm not so much technical. A lot of people consider me to be technical, but only those who are very non-technical do. Compared to most of my fellow Mozillians, I'm very untechnical, and I tend to manage these programs. But my focus, other than with young people directly, is more around the digital literacy, so digital inclusion and web literacy side of what Mozilla does, and in terms of the internet health report. So for us, it's about actually giving people a voice to have to say about what is going on around them, about them engaging with online culture and activity. And so voice is one of those key ways, looking at the moment, let's say International Women's Day, also looking at various media. So this featured item here is from a young video maker, a film that they released. And the other issues at the moment they're looking at are around the climate crisis, which has come about, as you can see, actually from these articles here, but also the change in climate from having fewer emissions through 2020, but actually how that's still not going to be enough to take it forward. So there's a lot of some of the issues that young people are really interested in. It's actually how they can tackle that and the different ways that they could be advocates and ambassadors for a change in the way in which we do things and how we work. So the other thing that I was going to show, should be hopefully coming through here, is some of the work that we did, that we've been doing through the year on media, basically, and engaging with lots of people throughout the year with workshops and through a Culture at Home program. So I just use these as visuals rather than show them. But the way in which we actually got young people engaged in culture and in society was through a series of weekly hangouts. So we sort of use the online technology sort of space to actually go, right, how can we engage with what's going on? Not only did we look at sort of pictures and films, that sort of things, but actually engaging in the sort of more VR and AR type technologies and the sort of 360 explorations of museums and galleries. There was even a fantastic session that was all hosted in Minecraft as well, and actually someone who built a whole gallery within Minecraft, and so the young people were going in through that to explore a gallery. So it was all about actually opening up culture, also from around the world, from their own homes, which actually is more than perhaps they'd have had the opportunity to, even if they could get out and about. One of the things that we have faced, and one of the things we've tried to support, is unfortunately the digital inclusion side, and where there are people who haven't got access to devices and technology. And part of our current program where we've employed these young people is where they've been needed, giving them devices so they can actually engage in all the learning and the work opportunities as well. I could go on for hours about that particular issue, but you know, because we are online and digital, and that is what we do. However, we've also always tried to remember the fact that not everyone has that access and some of our projects are, we're desperately looking to take them back live again so that we can engage those that don't have internet connections or something. So yeah, that was a small part of our wider work. Just a quick introduction. So the website, feel free to go and view and check out over the next couple of weeks. There'll be lots of reviews of different sessions from MozFest as well. That'll be featuring on the homepage. So it's voicemag.uk. I'll pop it in the chat in a minute as well, but please do go and have a little look around. One of the milestones we surpassed recently is we now have over 1,000 interviews on the website. That's all sorts of people, different jobs, different career experiences and such like. So yeah, it's growing nicely. Thank you.
Amazing. That's really awesome. Yeah, thanks for putting that link in the chat. Does anyone have a quick question for Emrys? All right, Esther, you are up. Thank you for sharing. Esther, your audio is a little broken up. Do you want to maybe try to mute your video to see if that helps?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Yeah. I was saying I thought I saw a hand up, but maybe I didn't. Yeah. So thanks everyone for your presentation and the amazing work you're doing. And I'll be sharing about the work of Grassroots, which is an organization that I founded in 2017. And we've been working with young people to increase digital citizenship in local communities. And MozFest has been a big part of that journey. Since we started in 2017, in 2018, we joined Mozilla Open Leaders, and that really shaped our leadership structure to be open and to reach more people and to use this open leadership framework to engage more young people to be part of the internet health movement and to be part of internet governance. So we have used MozFest really as a platform to share our work. So in 2018, we shared about, we created a Monopoly board. This is a board game where we did a digital rights version of Monopoly. So it was very fun to play. And in 2019, we also presented about localizing internet governance. So we were looking at how the internet infrastructure really shapes how engagement happens online and how where there's more infrastructure, there's higher connectivity. And we looked at it from a perspective of how does ownership in internet work. So this year we took a different approach and we're making a short film that will be featured at Mozilla Festival next week. We'll be also having a short Q&A at the Virtual Embassy on the 15th. So if you want to have any questions about that, you can join the Virtual Embassy. In the meantime, I'll share the trailer. I'll share the trailer for the short film, but mostly it's talking about how we can make sure that inclusion is done in an equitable way, and that we're able to create sustainable and lasting change. So I'm just going to play that. Let me know if the sound is okay or anything. Thanks.
We believe that the internet is open for everyone, as long as you and I, or any other person that connects to the internet, has a space at the digital level.
Are you a digital citizen?
No, I'm not a digital citizen.
There needs to be a lot of heavy investments into ensuring that the next generations of citizens, which are the youth, are equipped with the right skills to excel in the digital future.
The history of internet architecture begins way before we knew the potential of the technology to change the society we live in. This process was informed by the fundamental principles of open technical standards.
I am a digital citizen because I am an active internet user.
Évidemment, parce que je fais partie de la communauté virtuelle
și atunci comunic și partaj.
Ownership in infrastructure is only possible when there are intentional inclusion mechanisms. And infrastructure goes beyond the tech. It also means clear pathways for people to get involved in internet governance, with priority given to the ones who are most excluded from decision-making processes.
Online, our lives are for sale. So what can be done about it? What are we going to do about it?
Yes, so that's the trailer for the short film, and it will be streaming throughout next week, so you can join at any time to watch it. It's being done in the global culture and heritage space. So this is my presentation, and it's really just it just really comes from the journey we've had at MozFest, and it's been really encouraging to bring young people from underrepresented communities to talk about inclusion instead of it being from a top-down way, as it has been. We're getting young people to join from a bottom-up way. And also, this has been helped because Digital Grassroots has now been chosen to be a youth leader in the UN Women Generation Equality Action Coalition for Technology and Innovation. So I feel in the next 5 years, we'll be able to actually make a difference in the lives of young people, hopefully. So thank you so much. And thanks, Christina, for sharing the schedule.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I just put the schedule link into the chat if you would like to go and watch the full trailer. It's really exciting. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question for Esther. I think I'm just curious. It's really amazing the work that she's doing. I'm definitely going to watch the film again. I like hearing about results. I think that's why my question is always about that. Like, what is something interesting that has been an outcome of the kind of work that you're doing, which is very important? Can you share like one interesting outcome?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Taro. And there has been a lot, but because it's 4 minutes, I was like, I don't want to overwhelm all of you. But so when we started, we really wanted young people to be engaged in internet governance, since Digital Grassroots was born out of the Internet Governance Forum. And we saw that there wasn't a lot of young people from our communities, from underrepresented communities, being part of this space. But through the work we've been able to do, we've had a series of programs, including the Ambassadors Program and the Community Leaders Program, one which we also did with the Mozilla Internet Health Report team last year. We've been able to create pathways for young people to just engage in the internet governance and internet health space with autonomy. And from our Ambassadors Program, we've seen that the young people who joined our programs have gone on to be sort of leaders in their own right, speaking on issues that are happening in their communities. And it's been really good to watch that. It's more like creating pathways, and it's been good to see young people taking the helm in this issue. And I'm happy to share more maybe later. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, for our last 5 minutes, we are going to wrap up with Sultan's presentation. So take it away.
All right, starting my timer. Hello, everybody. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, definitely make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, looks great.
Okay, all right, so yeah, welcome to Mozilla. A little bit about myself. My name is Sultan. Yeah, I want to focus my talk about web monetization. Just code a little bit of simulation around the whole concept of web monetization. I mean, we're talking about the better web, the future of the web. So I might as well use this opportunity to talk about web monetization. But yeah, before then, a little bit about myself. My name is Sultan. I'm an ambassador at Grant for the Web. Grant for the Web is like a child company under COI, Creative Commons, and Mozilla. So what we do is we try and introduce the whole concept of web monetization to folks. And I was the first ambassador in Africa. And since then, I've been working around with a lot of community leaders and creating a lot of structures, articles, and co on web monetization in Africa generally. I mean, I kind of like focusing on Africa. So yeah, I own a company called Talent Secure. Talent Secure is a talent outsourcing and management company. It's a startup, probably just 4 months old now. We did our pre-seed funding on $200,000 about 2 months ago. So we're just starting up actually. And I also own a nonprofit called Deaf Career. Yeah, Deaf Career is something that I started in 2019. And so far we've had 2 cohorts. And the whole idea behind Deaf Career is just to create an environment, create an organization that actually caters for budding software engineers that don't have the resources. And by resources, I'm talking about the financial resources, because starting my own career as a software engineer, I was coding on a mobile phone, and I'm talking about Java phone, those small Nokia phones. That was what I started my career with. So the whole idea of Deaf Career is to actually assist individuals like that have that zeal, the passion for tech, but they don't have the financial capability. So far we've been able to do a lot. I mean, we've had 2 cohorts. We have 72 developers trained. We've partnered with Innovation Hub, Co-Creation Hub, Upper Space Hub, and now we're in 4 countries actually. We started in 2019, and now we're in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Zambia. So we had a lot of sponsors, we've had Kuda, GoFundMe, iSams, Perigon, Aiden Life. And yeah, the first cohort we had about 22 candidates in Nigeria only. It was on 3 states in Nigeria. And we had about just 8 females in the first cohort. However, in the second cohort, we were able to raise more funds and we increased to 50 candidates. And I'm happy to tell you that we had 25 males and 25 females in the second cohort. And what we do is we give you laptop, we give you courses, we provide mentorships, we also provide hub space. And the work of the hub space is to provide internet and electricity. So basically, we cover every angles. I mean, it's a lot of organizations are out there giving out courses or giving out data, but courses are kind of easy to see. What these people need is they need the hardware to actually use these courses. It's no use if you're giving somebody a $2,000 course and the person only has a mobile phone to learn it. I mean, there are a lot of limitations a mobile phone would give you. So what we've been able to do is we've been able to craft the program around providing everything essential, from the laptop you would use, to the courses, to the mentorship, to the electricity, and even the internet access that you would use. I mean, think about it. If you have everything that you need, you have the courses, you have the mentorship, you have your mentor available 24/7, you have the laptop, but you don't have internet or you don't have electricity, it's still going to be useless. So we've been able to cover all grounds, and that's the reason why we don't just have that large numbers. I mean, you would probably see some organizations that are probably a year older and they've trained 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Well, we are unable to do something like that because we need to cover all grounds. So it's more about the, should I say, I'm trying to look at the best way to. I'm not actually, the organization is not metrics driven. It's actually results driven. I mean, after the first cohort where we had 22 candidates that joined us, all the 22 candidates that started the program. It's a 3-month program. And after the program, the laptop belongs to you as long as you finish the program. All the 22 that started finished the program in the first year. And started. And second year also, the same thing. We had about 4 people that dropped due to COVID-19. We had a lot of issues, but that was just it. Everybody that is starting is finishing the program. And after that, I mean, the first 22 candidates, about 18 of them now have a job in amazing companies and started their career. I think we have a career page. I think we have a career page. Yeah, this is some of our candidates that started, and a lot of them are now working in different companies now. So the whole idea of Deaf Career is to actually create a career out of developers and not just to do the training. We don't want to say, oh, we've trained a certain number of people. We want to be able to say, we've trained this certain number of people and they've been able to build a career in tech. And also there's a popular She Code Africa. It's an all-female program, a really amazing community. We definitely check them out also. Yeah, enough about that. Yeah, the whole concept of monetization, my main topic was about the ways content creators can actually get payment and let's say receive payment for the content they're providing on the web actually out there. And if you've not heard about the concept of web monetization before, at my timer, oh my God, I'm almost done. All right, so a lot of companies have been using web monetization already actually. I mean, I'm talking about Free Code Camp, Tutorial Edge, be WordPress, default, YouTube, Twitch, tons of them are using web monetization. And I was able to build a model, a short model with a simulation on that, on how the web monetization model works, meaning that as a user, the advantage there is you have to subscribe to Coin, and with that, you have access to all the content that web monetized on the web. It means with one subscription as a user, you're protecting your privacy, you're having access to thousands of content that are being web monetized on the web. And the good part there is, as a creator, you get revenue, you make revenue from the content you're providing on the web, and you actually also support an ecosystem of that supports the privacy of your users. It's wide, it's broad. I mean, one of the good advantages there for content creators is that you no longer have to worry about the company, the country your users are. Take for instance, if your revenue model is subscription-based, it means that people in certain countries can't have access to your content because they have to worry about laws, they have to worry about payments, they have to worry about tax, they have to worry about credit card being accepted or not. With web monetization, you've cut through all those hurdles. It's a pretty amazing rising ecosystem and technology, and I'm definitely sure that a lot of stuff will be coming up over the year. I could definitely answer a lot of questions, but I did time myself, and I think my time is up now, actually, Sha. Yeah, thank you very much, Mozilla Fest. And it's really amazing being here, and definitely would love to be here again next year.
Amazing, thank you. Does anyone have a quick question? I know we're a few minutes over, so I just really quickly, before I let anyone ask a question, if you, all of the ambassadors, if you are comfortable sharing your slides in the general Slack channel, that way others can, dive into them further, ask you questions there. I think that would be a great idea. But are there any questions for Sultan? Okay, great. I just put a few.
I'm so sorry, Christina. I was trying to get to my mute button. I kept the flower next to it. I'm like, why is it not working? I was just going to ask, and sorry if I missed it, can people join from anywhere in the world, or is it just young people or anyone from Africa, or what's your scope?
Are you talking about Dev Career?
Sorry, yeah, Dev Career, yeah.
Yeah, Dev Career is, the focus majorly is on Africa, and for now we're just in 4 African countries.
Okay.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, awesome. So I put a few links into the chat. If you're interested in the future of the Ambassador Program, I put a link there. You can learn more about it. You can see all of the information about our ambassadors, and you can also apply if you are interested in potentially being a part of a future Ambassador Program. Connect with us on Slack. I will start a Slack thread in the general channel, and then ambassadors, if you want to go in and add your links, I think that might be the best way. But again, thank you all so much for coming. So thrilled to have you all with us, and just really excited about the future work, especially of the upcoming few days of the festival that we have. Amazing. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for sharing.
Bye-bye.